Talk to me about what you think about, say, North America's relationship with drugs. Does it go back to some Puritan sense where we don't want to allow ourselves pleasure to some extent? Is that where a lot of this whole battle in the mind that then becomes manifested as a war against drugs, et cetera, whereas other cultures maybe are more allowing of that, maybe they're more open to that? How do you view it? Because it doesn't seem to make sense.
Well, when you say North America, I don't see much difference throughout the Western world, actually.
Okay.
It's fairly universal, the so-called war on drugs. And again, my mantra about that is there's no war on drugs because you can't make war on inanimate objects. There's a war on drug addicts. In other words, we're warring on the most traumatized segments of the population. And that's true as much here in Britain as it is in France or United States. Although the United States, of course, leads the world. So as we know, the world's population, 4 or 5% of the world's population are Americans, 25% of the world's jail population are Americans. So every 5th person in the world in jail is a citizen of the land of the free. And there is reasons for that. But pleasure seeking is hardly it, because there's no more hedonistic society than the United States. I mean, the desperation to experience pleasure, the pursuit of happiness, as if happiness was something external to you that you could pursue. I mean, that's an interesting phrase right there. Yeah. The pursuit of happiness. But
maybe that sets the landscape from the beginning.
Of course.
I mean, the Buddha wouldn't say that.
No, he wouldn't say that at all.
Okay.
Pleasure seeking and the rejection of pleasure seeking, it may play some role in certain people's attitude, but it's not what drives it overall. Actually, if you look at it historically, it's has very much a racial tinge to it in the United States. Minority peoples are much more likely to be arrested and charged with and convicted of drug charges than other people. For the possession of the same chemical, a black person will get 10 times the jail sentence that a white person will. For example, cocaine. Yeah. Depending on which form. Yeah. You know, there's a wonderful film I saw recently on Netflix called The 13th, which is the 13th Amendment, which is that slavery is outlawed. You can't benefit from people's coerced labor unless they're criminals. That's the 13th Amendment. Okay. So after the Civil War, when they could no longer use black slaves, now they created black criminals. And then they could use them in the chain gangs. And it follows that whole miserable history up till recently. And so I think it's very complex in the States, but racial politics has a lot to do with it. So does pharmaceutical control. It's highly medicated society, but we just like the medications to be dispensed by people who can make profits off it. So it's the most medicated society in the history of the world, and certainly in the world today. So that there's many reasons, but the deepest reason, I think, is the denial of pain.
Continue watching this fascinating conversation for free by clicking on the link below to visit our website, learn from the best minds in the world, and connect with a community of passionate people building the best versions of themselves. Just click on the link below, and I'll see you on the inside.